In downtown Detroit, it's Jason Carr Live with your host, Jason Carr.
Hey, that's me. What's going on? Good to see you. Who's the first person to comment? We want to know. We want to get this show on the road. We want to get going. We are fast, footloose, and fancy-free, and we are bursting with infotainment to capture your hearts and minds.
All that.
All off the top of my head, unscripted. First, for two polar researchers in Antarctica over the weekend, they got married. Julie and Tom decided to tie the knot after being together for 11 years. They were the first couple to be married in Antarctica. Julie and Tom were joined by 20 guests in tuxedos, all of them penguins. Julie made her own dress with a little help from her friends. It included pieces from an orange tent for something old. Tom made the brass wedding rings himself, according to the BBC. The group braved 15-degree temperatures to make the wedding pictures outside of a British research station. They drove off in the sunset on a snowmobile.
Yeah, the snowmobile is kind of ridiculous. It's like the thing out of The Shining, you know, that they go
Oh,
away.
the snowcat.
Yeah.
Not a snowmobile, but a snowcat. Danny! Danny!
So where do you honeymoon in Antarctica?
I don't want to hurt you, Wendy. Rad rum. Rich and compelling. Now this. Oh, rich and compelling calls for Lobster Man.
Of course. Here we go.
I don't know why he's fuchsia. Get along, little doggies. Get along.
Now, how many jokes can we make? I got the good, the bark, and the pugly. How's that?
I just keep thinking of Jack Nicholson sitting at a typewriter typing out, "Doggy riding pony all day makes Jack a dull boy. Doggy riding pony all day makes Jack a dull boy." Jack, stop! You're scaring me. That movie is seared into my brain. I went to see that as a horror movie-loving youngster. My mom took me to The Shining when I was like 10 years old. She has since disavowed such movie-going that I was probably not old enough to... I thought I was. Nightscope security robot at the Washington Harbor shopping mall was fed up with the tedious nature of its assigned mall cop tasks and crippling existential dread. It decided enough was enough before driving itself into an outdoor water feature.
This story's hilarious.
Oh, goodbye, cruel world. You don't deserve my automations, nor my automatic attentions.
So the robot company's looking into it. There's an investigation, and they're going to replace this robot, I guess, for free. But you wonder what malfunctioned, you know?
Was Fisher Stevens not around to keep this robot from falling into the fountain?
And I love the one tweet. What did it say? Our DC office building got a security robot. It drowned itself. We were promised flying cars. Instead, we got suicidal robots.
Richard says that The Shining was the scariest movie he'd ever seen until he saw The Ring. Cautionary tale for all of you contact lens wearers about the importance of regular eye exams. Doctors in England claim to discover 27, yes, I said 27, contact lenses in a woman's eye as they prepped her for cataract surgery. They say the lenses were clumped together and bound by mucus.
I mean, how do you go about doing this? I don't wear contacts, but do you just forget that you left them in and didn't take one out, or like think that it fell out and later on just put one on top of the next one on top of the next one, and then sooner or later, I mean, you've got to be able to feel. I don't know, like.
Chris Jacobs, the name of Wally's girl robot is Eva. 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 Wally. Wally. Great movie. Sad movie. Great movie. The 67-year-old had worn monthly contact lenses for 35 years, but rarely visited the eye doctor. Experts say this case is very rare, of course, but it does serve as a good reminder about proper eye care and regular checkups. Can you imagine? You just keep putting contact lenses in. L'Oreal is on her way to Traverse City.
Oh, that's nice.
Hopefully not texting and watching this at the same time as she's driving. Although, if somebody... Oh, I just had a great idea.
Yeah.
Somebody among our regular troops, our core viewership, should take a road trip of 40 minutes. What is it? How long does it take you to get from one side of the town to the other? 40 minutes?
Depends on how fast you're going.
And should have us sort of on as like morning radio in the background. You know, resist the urge to look at the phone. Just put it in the center console in the cup holder.
And see if it plays the same way.
And see if it plays the same way as sort of a morning radio that you can't see, you can only hear.
Rich and compelling will make no sense.
Well, you'll just have to imagine a guy the color of a lobster and then go from there. Employees at a polyurethane manufacturing company in Louisville, Colorado, or Louisville, Kentucky.
No, this was Colorado, I think.
Got quite the surprise when they showed up to work. Employees at Argonics Incorporated thought someone might have tried to break into their facility when they discovered the front door shattered. After watching security footage, they discovered a goat. Look at that.
Well, and the thing is he ends up taking down both doors.
That's a strong animal. That's a headbutt in action right there. Oh my gosh, this reminds me as we're watching this, apropos of nothing other than animals on the attack, Charlie Tickles, our 4-pound Chihuahua, who knows what else, but mostly Chihuahua.
Took down a glass door?
Almost.
Almost.
Snarling, snapping, biting, and barking at a pitch I didn't know she could reach because a puppy came over Sunday. She's 1.5 years. The puppy's 16 weeks. A lab puppy. Bigger than her and flopping all around like a happy puppy does. And Charlie Tickles went on a rampage.
You gotta socialize that dog.
A rampage. We've never seen it. She's never shown anything like that. There's been other dogs around, just not 16-week-old puppies. So imagine Charlie Tickles attacking this glass door like this goat, and you've pretty much got the idea.
How's it going?
Goes well, Rhonda Walker. Have you seen the goat bashing into this door?
Yes. It's hilarious.
Goat demands entrance to business, takes down both doors. Todd Johnson, are you throwing our dog under the bus for having a name like a mob enforcer?
Charlie Tickles, the mob enforcer. You don't want to mess with Charlie Tickles. I've heard stories.
I'm telling you, she's getting more protective of us. It's almost like a dominance thing. From Chicago's Navy Pier to Mackinac Island here in Michigan, hundreds of boats set sail on a big voyage. Sailors from around the world set off from Navy Pier, racing to Mackinac Island. 300 sailboats, 333 miles. Infinite Diversion was the first boat to finish the race. This was the 109th race, and the Chicago Yacht Club calls it their Super Bowl.
109 years, that's awesome. That's such a cool tradition to keep going. I guess it's the longest freshwater sailing race in the world.
Brian Mixdean says Brian Mixdean says the goat was attacking his reflection.
But you got to imagine that goat is telling that story and then one day saying, I hit this goat so hard it disappeared from existence.
Tell your joke.
Which one?
The fish.
I got another one for you.
Okay.
I don't know if I told this one. So 2 whales are in a bar, and bartender comes to the first whale. He says, "What can I get you?" And the whale says, and the second whale says, "Fred, go home. You're drunk."
If you tuned out and missed that one, well, shame on you. Rich and Compelling Part 2. Here we go.
Okay.
Wait, what? Are these dogs playing hide and seek? Nothing up my sleeve. Hey! Michael says he just called the cops over that joke. They're coming to get you, John.
Good, good.
Shelley thinks you sounded like Dory.
Like Dory. Is that a good Dory joke?
Have you seen Finding Dory?
No.
She's trying to talk to the whales. Charlie Tickles is the name of our dog. A runt of the litter Chihuahua, possibly Chihuahua mixed with, I don't know, Terrier or something, but she looks mostly Chihuahua. Certainly won't be on the cover of Chihuahua magazine anytime soon as an exemplar of the breed. An unusual rainbow-like feature in the skies over Shanghai, China is drawing a lot of attention. The unique spectrum, closely copying the effects of a rainbow, appeared in the clouds above Shanghai early Monday morning. The rare phenomenon, which looked like a straight rainbow, extended more than 320 feet across the sky. Alrighty.
All right. Yeah.
Liz thinks we're great. She's going to use that whale joke.
Oh, it's a great joke.
If
And
you think that one's good, wait till you hear the fish joke.
so two fish are in a tank, and one says, "I'll man the guns, you drive." Both of those jokes are clean too, so you can use them with all ages, and it's great.
That's why you never work blue. You always, as I've almost collapsed my table leaning on it, you always work clean and you will always find work. I mean, you can, toe the line a little bit or tiptoe up to the line, rather. But, if you work clean, you'll always find, a gig at a moose lodge or on a cruise or sitting behind a counter of Formica in front of a camera like John.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Tammy loves the fish joke.
Oh, Joel has a joke about paper.
Oh, well, what could possibly be a better use of our time or an example of something that will drive up, possibly also dry up our live viewership than a joke via text from a viewer. So let's take a listen as Joel tells us his paper joke. I'm waiting. I'm not going anywhere until I get this joke via text. Joel says, never mind, it's terrible.
Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad.
That's
it
it.
only works
That's
this way, though.
Shut it down.
I don't know.
I'm leaving. That's it. I'm out of here. That left a film on the lens, that joke.
There we go. Yep. Yeah, you got it.
I got to get plugged back in here.
Yeah, this is the whole process.
That was your big chance for a monologue there.
Oh, a monologue.
Wait till we get to the part about children's food or the kids' menu at restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a good one coming up. Baby elephant, though.
Oh, boy. Now the badge jokes are cropping up. Baby elephant brings joy to crowds at the Houston Zoo with her public debut. The aptly named Joy, an Asian elephant calf, didn't disappoint. 300-pound infant exploring her pen. She was born on July 12th, and this is her first public viewing. Hi, Sarah Wilson. Jennifer, Denise. Twilight Zone is being adapted as a stage play and will debut in London in December. Currently, there is no word about the specifics of neither the play's plot or its casting.
How about that? I wonder which episodes they're going to use.
Can you take it full?
To do this stage play.
Oh, William Shatner. There is a man on the wing of this plane.
To serve man. I got to get that cookbook. Then, you know, I feel like I need to diversify. And
How many of these slides do you have?
just those 3, I think.
Can you put the first one up full again?
Yep.
Now, how creeped out were you by this one?
This was a terrifying episode.
Well, how old were you when you saw it?
I guess pretty young, probably like 10 or 11. Probably 10 or 11.
Well, where did you see the Twilight Zone?
Well, every year, 4th of July weekend, Sci-Fi Channel used to do a huge marathon. I think they still do it to this day, but, you know, who watches cable TV with commercials and all that? You know, I just stream it. I think all the Twilight Zone episodes are available on Netflix. But I would say with certainty that I've seen every episode.
New Totina's mac and cheese pizza rolls are slated to arrive sometime later this summer. The new microwavable snack features bacon mac and cheese inside a bite-sized pocket crust.
Oh, how about that? Mac and cheese flavor. It's a good segue.
Yeah, no kidding. Can you take this full?
Sure.
Here's the thing about Totino's. The regular ones, when you make them in the microwave, one side of the plate will come out piping hot.
Yep. The other side, not so much.
The other side will be lukewarm, and the other side will be like, there's always one that's still a little bit frozen or something.
And then there's one that's just completely come apart somehow.
Yeah, and then you eat them because, you know, let's be honest, it's late at night.
Yeah.
And you scald the roof of your mouth, but you don't really feel it until the next morning.
And you ruin the rest of the taste for all the other ones. That first one just ruins them.
Okay, kids' menus. How many slides do you have for this?
5.
5 slides. All right, so I found this article, and basically it's that you need to stop taking your kids to restaurants and letting them order from the kids' menu because you are artificially limiting their palate. And you're teaching them to consume MSG, high sodium, fattening, and otherwise uninteresting but yet delicious food like this plate of chicken fingers and fries. The author of the article that I read basically insists that you're also, restaurants are also to blame because by serving a kid's menu, you're creating a whole nother generation of picky eaters that will not be adventurous and try something like sushi or duck or what have you.
And I think it carries over into other aspects of your life later on, where if you're just set with your regular routines and I only do chicken fingers, then later on it's going to be anything and everything. I never really go on vacation because I'm comfortable at home and all these other things. You know, it's interesting, the article very much blamed chefs for not being original or not going far enough, but I've got to probably imagine that it's restaurant owners that know that I served to the most common denominator, which was what it was referencing. There's more money in just having that availability, I guess, instead of forcing kids to try new things. I don't know. What do our viewers think?
They're still talking about Twilight Zone. Michael says MSG is love. Sandy says, I love MSG. Listen, I have no problem with this. I have Accent not only at home, but here at the station as well, which is literally pure MSG. Accent, table salt, or food enhancer, if you will. And it is amazing how you can put Accent on something and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, I have to keep eating this. This is so delicious. Start working on a big plate of mac and cheese, and about halfway through, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. You throw some accent on the other half of that plate of macaroni and cheese, and it is on. I don't know what it is about monosodium glutamate and what it does to your brain chemicals. Probably I don't want to know. That was random.
Oops, sorry.
Rod Maloney just out of nowhere. All right, let's do this. Rawr. When's the last time you had MSG? Like pure MSG? Like, remember Accent table salt?
Oh, is that what that was?
Pure MSG.
Not really, no. I had my Chinese food over the weekend.
Oh, Chinese food.
That's
That's...
It makes my wife's heart race, so I'm trying to avoid it.
Oh, well, that's probably smart then.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike John Jack is here.
Hey, Mike John Jack.
You probably didn't know this, but Mike John Jack invented MSG.
In 1981, is that right?
I think it was more like 76.
76, okay.
And at that point, you know, he was already a strapping teenager and a chemist at a major food lab, in addition to somebody who could do 105 fingertip push-ups and slam a case of beer.
Yeah, I think he was from Témiscamingue, Quebec.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you're right. Mm-hmm. The multilingual, multinational Mike John Jack.
Mike John Jack, oh yeah.
Yukon Jack and Black Jack Chirac has nothing on Mike John Jack from Quebec. Because Mike John Jack literally wrestled a bear in the Canadian wilderness and took the bear meat to the nearest campfire, doused it in MSG, and the rest is history.
He's a legend.
He is an absolute legend. Born in 1960, he was already 150 pounds when he was born.
150 pounds. I mean, I had that baby elephant. That was 300 pounds.
Sandy Claus for the win. Yes, Mike John Jack is a relative of Bill Brasky. So Bill Brasky. Jason Colthorpe. This is why we do this. Sadly, this will be the highlight of my day.
I was nothing until I met Bill Brasky. He's a gentleman and a scholar.
Oh, boy. First for two polar researchers in Antarctica over the weekend. They got married. Julie Baum and Tom Sylvester decided to tie the knot after being together for 11 years. Hey, Gabriel, how's it going? Kathleen, I'm glad you're entertained. We try. Meanwhile, Nicole is trying to tell another viewer, if you are near On the Rocks on John R. in Madison Heights, they have the best chicken tenders.
Ooh. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of those meal options. You know, they're all great stuff, but that's not what you're supposed to have every single time you go out.
Kathleen thinks that Jason Colthorpe was doing a pirate voice.
It did seem pirate-esque. Now, here's one. Do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
Arr!
No, the C!
Oh. Where did Mike John Jack go? Is he off on an adventure? Is he too busy for us? Or was he ever here to begin with? Was it a false Mike John Jack?
It may have been a false Mike John Jack. I didn't see him in there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him. It might have been a false sighting. Oh, there he is. He says he has the same issue. Burned my mouth on the first pizza roll, cold the next. Oh. No, the sea. Mike John Jack is being very low key. I don't, you know, he's not one to brag.
You know, he never was.
No. Speaking of Angela Lansbury, my stepfather's father, Grandpa Mac, as we called him, used to give my grandmother a hard time by purposely, instead of murder, she wrote, he would say, hey, it's almost time for she wrote murder.
The woman who's committing
John,
all those murders
it's
in that
not
small
she
town.
wrote murder, it's murder she wrote. And he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
He was giving her the business.
Yeah.
She wrote murder. Hey, she wrote murder's about on. So what are the odds that last night I would have been reading an article about I Want to Get Off the Planet of the Apes, the Simpsons episode with Dr. Zayas.
Yeah.
And I'm reading an oral history of that on, I don't know, avclub.com or one of those. And what comes on the TV purely by chance?
Planet of the Apes?
No, The Simpsons.
Really? Okay.
And it was one of the older episodes where Homer speaks like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, man, that is weird.
Well, I don't know. What do you think the statistical probability is that any time you turn on a TV, The Simpsons could be on?
Well, in a universe of 2,000 plus cable channels,
I
on
know,
our
but The
AT&T
Simpsons has been
universe,
on for 26 years or something like that, right?
I know, but what are the odds we would have had that channel on, which I probably would gather was FX,
Yeah.
and a movie was going off. The Heat with Sandra Bullock went off, and then The Simpsons came on as I was reading a Simpsons article. That's got to be pretty rare.
It's out of all the shows, though, that would be the one that, I don't know, would maybe sneak in there.
I hate every ape I see from chimpan to chimpanzee. Dr. Zayas, oh, Dr. Zayas. The late, great Phil Hartman as, hello, I'm actor Troy McClure. Gabriel's annoyed that you and I had a side conversation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Can you put these up full?
Sure.
Currently at 118 live viewers, down significantly from my 500 plus or approaching 600 yesterday while we were deep in conversation and monologuing about this whole thing and my chipmunks.
Do you
or
think
the chipmunk.
this being up full screen is gonna bring?
Well,
it
it's
in?
helping so far. Look at that. Oh, look at this. 12 people have joined since we put Planet of the Apes from this weekend, the box office champion.
I mean, this is incredible footage. You know, I had someone walk by earlier. They said, "Is this CGI?" I said, "Yes, that's CGI. That's. I mean, they put a lot of money into this, and here is a deleted scene that wasn't in the new movie."
Oh, we have our first. You know how people like review TV shows for
We've
websites?
got a critic.
We've got a critic.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, our topics today aren't as strong as they were yesterday. You mean when I had the chipmunk in my garage?
Yeah, the chipmunk was pretty strong. It's difficult to go from Jason Carr has a chipmunk burrowing its way into a garage to coming to today with a wedding in Antarctica.
All I could even think of was where? Behind the rabbit? No, it's got big teeth. Savage. Right, one rabbit stew coming up. Good morning, David LaFrance in Tucson, Tucson, Arizona. Now we're getting requests. Like this is the all request Saturday night.
What do we see now? Let's go back to the robot. A robot committed suicide.
I've got Cody telling me not to be late for the live in the DTs.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Hassenpfeffer.
Hassenpfeffer.
Nicole says this is my favorite hour of the morning. Well, the bar is pretty low.
It's
mean,
early in the day, you know. There's a couple hours later on that could beat us. We've got this robot here that just had enough.
Well, I should probably get going. Hello, Levine. Hello, Shirley. Lo only gets to watch when I'm on vacation. What is Nicole saying? Yes, Kathleen, U of M does have a robot named Marlo. Is that the one that can climb stairs? Or climb... It can walk in a circle and actually ascend stairs.
Now, I'm interested because if I remember the 3 laws of robotics, one of them had to do specifically with robots not harming themselves, correct? So...
What am I, Isaac Asimov?
You know.
I, Robot? All right, got to run.
All right, stay classy, Detroit.